If you've watched football in recent years, you've probably noticed something strange happen after a free kick's been awarded. As the wall lines up, hoping to block the oncoming shot, a defending player will often lay on the floor behind their teammates. Why? Well, because of this. Oh! That one really hurt. See, for decades, free kick specialists have enjoyed success by shooting beneath the wall rather than over it at dead ball situations. But if the technique of shooting under the wall isn't new, then why have we only started seeing players lying down, attempting to thwart a potential goal in the last decade? Our story starts in 2013.
Even if you don't watch much football and I asked you to explain why players do this, you would probably be able to tell me that it's something to do with blocking an attempt of a low shot during a free kick. But despite being a relatively simple solution, the earliest widely documented example of a professional footballer doing it didn't come until 2013. During a match against Palmeiras in the second tier of Brazilian football, ex-Figueirense midfielder Ricardinho took it upon himself to bolster his side's wall by laying down behind it, leaving many inside the stadium wondering what on earth he was doing. And it was no accident that the move originated in Brazil. See, in the early 2010s, elite level football in Brazil was home to a number of set-piece specialists who had a knack for hitting free kicks below the wall to catch goalkeepers off guard. So desperate defenders had to improvise a way to counteract players like Jorge Valdivia, Lucio Flavio, and one of the most famous executors of the technique, Ronaldinho. And it seemed they'd finally found the solution with the move that some fans have jokingly nicknamed the draft excluder. Not long after Ricardinho paved the way, other examples started appearing across Brazilian football, including this one in 2014, where a Ponte Preta player used the move to attempt to block a Lucio Flavio free kick. However, despite the growing use of the move in Brazilian football, it wouldn't be for another few years until the rest of the world truly took notice. But why? Football is usually so quick to copy trends, so why did a solution to such an obvious problem remain hidden away in Brazil?
The answer is, it hadn't yet reached a big enough stage. But that began to change in 2017 when ex-Liverpool midfielder Felipe Coutinho crouched behind the wall in a Premier League match against Tottenham, raising eyebrows across social media. While not a full-on horizontal block, this was one of the first examples of the concept escaping Brazilian domestic football and appearing on the wider European stage. For a moment, it looked like the defensive tactic had broken out of Brazil. But it still wasn't until a Champions League match in 2018 that the world truly took notice. So here's the scene. Barcelona up against Inter Milan in the group stage at the Camp Nou. The home side are awarded a free kick on the edge of the area and Luis Suarez steps up. He decides to be clever, rolling the ball under the wall, expecting to wheel away in celebration, but is thwarted by Inter Milan midfielder Marcelo Brozović. The Croat forms an emergency barrier and it works. The ball hits his back and flies out for a corner. For the first time, millions of viewers have watched the tactic work, and the clip goes viral. In fact, the clever block was so good, even an injured Lionel Messi sitting in the stands had a giggle at it. And not long after, examples of the practice began appearing all across Europe, in Spain, Italy, Russia and Germany. Today, the draft excluder has become a familiar sight. The spread has largely banished under-the-wall free kick goals to the past. And for now, there seems to be little opposition to people lying behind walls, unless of course it lands on top of you. So why did players suddenly start laying down at free kicks? Well, it wasn't as sudden as it seemed. It's clear the move began years before it made its way into modern mainstream football. It's just no one really paid attention to it until it reached the most watched club competition in the world. So is the draft excluder a clever piece of innovation? Or just an example of football becoming obsessed with finding tiny advantages? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Oh!